vendors in terms of their recommendations on how to dispose of the properties. Could you just sort of give us an update on where you got?
Excuse me, if I may. Just, you don't have to vote tonight. I mean, you can put this off till March.
This is relevant to
and these people at least know that they have to wait a month before they get an answer. That's all.
Yeah, basically, Bishop and John and myself interviewed several people. Several were realtors, both local and as far away as Stamford. And we interviewed 2 auction companies. The auction companies are more based upstate. The basic situation would be either through the realtors would be to list the properties, fix them up, and let prospective buyers approach the realtors with offers and to do some kind of a negotiated sale between the town and the prospective buyer. An auction is really very familiar to all of us. The auctioneer conducts an auction. He bangs his gavel at the end, and the high bid wins the property.
Individually or all?
No, they're not. They would not be sold as a package. It would be one lot at a time.
One at a time.
And now we're down to, according to Attorney Noto, about 10, 11 parcels. So an auction would be very quick. Between the 2 auction companies, one really offered a better deal. They included the advertising. Their fees were better. Quite frankly, the service they offer is kind of the same. They go out and market. They keep lists of people who come to auctions. They both conduct auctions of government properties. The 3 of us, I think, were quite taken aback by the fact that 2 of the realtors said, get rid of this stuff as fast as possible, which is really against their own self-interest. Another realtor who didn't say to do that said, look, I'll get rid of all this stuff for you within 30 days. So all of them, both realtors and auctioneers, were very, very against us stepping into the role of property managers and landlords. You know, we were advised that once we start taking rent, we're developing a landlord-tenant relationship, which is only going to kind of, in the vernacular, put us into the muck and the quicksand. It's not some place that we want to be. A lot of the properties are in poor condition. They really have to be fixed up quite a bit to even almost have safe habitation. And so, you know, the issue is really between an auction versus a negotiated sale. You know, we feel, the 3 of us came to the conclusion that an auction is really better. It's faster, it's very transparent, it's very open. I made the point that, you know, as a government, we have to be very, very leery of deals one-on-one. We don't really want to be in the position of any appearance of favoritism. At least with an auction, you know, it's done and it's over with. It is somewhat true that you may get slightly less for your money on an auction. There is that possibility. However, if you show the properties, I for one think if you at least make a good faith effort to show the properties and also to gain access, I think we could do a little bit better than we would otherwise. Conversely, to the extent you can't get into the properties, that's not going to help in the negotiated sale situation. So, you know, all in all, our recommendation, I think, based upon what the 3 of us saw, was to go with an auction company, and the one we liked the best was, I believe their name is American Auction, and they're located in the Buffalo area.
American Auction.
What they were called? Sorry, Auction International. My apologies. Thank you, John. And
how much? How did they do the auction? Or would you have, like, say, the 30 days notice and let people visit the properties?
Yeah, it's really. Yeah, I mean. Yes, you can do it on 30 days' notice. They have, you know, wide email contacts. They'll advertise in local media. They'll put flyers even in the lobby of 10 Pearl Street. They advertise. They go out and advertise. It's obviously in their interest to do some kind of decent advertising because the more they advertise, the more interest they get, the more people, you know, the higher the price goes.
They take a percentage of the take?
Yeah, this one would actually, he offered to do it one of 2 ways. Either a percentage of the take would be his fee or to tack on, I think it was a 7% fee. On top, you know, it's called a buyer's premium. And he thinks, and there's some psychological truth to this, that a buyer's premium people don't mind as much. So if they don't really mind the fact that they're paying more because they got to pay a buyer's premium, that obviously inures to the benefit of the town, since there's no, you know, we get what the price is. Now, to protect ourselves, and because in particular I believe Supervisor Carvin has been concerned about this, there are 2 ways to really, you know, protect yourself on the price side. You could either establish a reserve, which is, you know, you say kind of going in that the minimum bid has to be so-and-so, or a little bit more loose, but really the same net effect, is to simply say that the town board has to approve of any sale, which we kind of have to do with any town asset. So if, for whatever reason, the board felt that the price was just unacceptable, well, then in that case we could hold it and, for further action. Also, they made the point that, some of these properties are really, really poor in terms of what we would ever get for them. For example, the property on, one of them I believe is something like 9 feet by 9 feet and is usable like for a flagpole. Another one is on Rock Ridge Drive in Rybrook. It's not a buildable lot. It was unbelievable to find out that property is listed, I think, on multiple listing service. People are actually putting our properties on the market. Not being a buildable lot. I don't know. Who's going to buy this thing? I mean, why bother having people show it and deal with brokers and all that and worry about maintenance? I mean, just get rid of it. Someone will pay for it, and that's the end of it. It's not going to be used for housing. And so, as luckily as more and more properties get redeemed, we're really left with the least desirable properties, and those are the most susceptible to being auctioned.
And the negotiated approach, how long would that take?
Take as long as we want, really. Take forever until you get, it's just like any other property. You deal with the broker and say, this is what I have to get.
Right.
But in the meanwhile, we've also been instructed by Attorney Noto that, we have to pay, I believe it's the school taxes.
Right.
So that's a hefty carrying cost. And
right.
I was thinking myself, we may even have to pay the sewer taxes as well.
Right.
Oh.
Why couldn't we get, how could we not gain access to these properties?
Well, the problem is if people are in them, it's if people are physically living there, I'm not sure, I don't know if anyone is living in them. Perhaps, Mr. Nowotnik knows. If people are physically living there, you can't just break down the doors, even if you're the town.
You need to get a marshal order.
You have to and that's not necessarily going to happen until they're legally evicted.
Well, it says that 4 of the 9 properties were occupied.
Yeah, on the 27th, the foreclosure team, as Paul named it, we went out and visited all the properties that have structures on them.
How many of the 11 properties have structures on them?
There was 9 of the 14 properties. That includes the 3 that are up for redemption.
So
and they're up to redemption as part of our efforts to visit the property. There's 2 that are clearly vacant. One is 245 Madison. According to the neighbors, has been vacant for 8 to 10 years. We did not attempt to enter the property because it looked like we could kick it over. And I didn't want to have any liability to the town, risk of injury to staff. The other vacant property is 313 Locust. It was previously padlocked. We put our own padlock on it to ensure that it was secure. We also did not enter it just to ensure that we don't have any injuries or liability against the town. The other properties had evidence of occupancy or being operated as a business. As we mentioned, the one on Purdy Avenue is an auto body shop. The other one, the next to it, it's a converted residence. It's a 6-apartment building. So technically it's a non-homestead residence on Purdy, just for the knowledge. And the other property on North Main Street.
So wait, all 3 properties are commercial then, you're saying?
Technically,
technically,
yes, it's residential, but it's it's non-homestead.
When Mr. Markowitz comes to talk about homestead, it's going to be in the commercial class, correct?
It is in the commercial class.
Right.
And then the other commercial property is on North Main Street. It's a Spanish bar. The name is just not in my memory at the moment.
Adolcerita.
So there is a memo that has the detail of our visit on the 27th.
I think it was in your box.
It should have been on. I placed it in front of your microphone. I have another copy.
No, I'm sure I have.
Yeah, I can give you another.
I can read it all again. Well, this one. All right.
So, okay, so we've got some either further discussion or important decisions to make. I think it sounds like the recommendation is to go with an auction house.
Yeah, lastly, sorry, one other thing. It is, while we are certainly attempting to reinvent government, and we really pride ourselves on not doing things necessarily by the book, it is very telling that the overwhelming standard thing that governments do with tax foreclosed property is auction it. I mean, it is interesting. Not